now that we've reached the phase of having a completed foundation, no matter what phase you're at, you can always raise money, but it's always good to have something to show for it. A pitch deck is just one thing, but a demo is a whole nother one. So it's better to wait to have that app, that foundation, the demo of the actual product, a sample, something that shows tangibility. It allows you to really get people engaged a lot more easily because they can see the vision more effectively. This is part of information on how that fundraising works. Essentially, when you go to someone and you say, I want money for this idea, you're going to get advice. Now, if you go to someone and you say, I want advice, then that's what leads to dollars. They'll see it's a different frame. You're not selling. You're asking for advice. You can ask advice on how to get dollars. You say, hey, I want to do a fundraising round. Can you help connect me to the right people who can help me get that? Can you listen to my pitch? Give me some advice on how you think the pitch is. You'll be able to give them the pitch without them in the ideation that they're getting sold to, so they'll still take it in. And if they have the money to put up, they'll do it, or they'll possibly just give you the direct connection to other people who have the dollars, and then with a warm intro, you're 1,000 times more likely to actually finalize a deal. Part of the pitch. There's a great book to understand pitching called Pitch Anything. Some of the basics of that to understand right away is you want to explain, why is this important now? Why wasn't this idea possible previously? Particularly, for example, with Flick. Well, it's just became way more reasonable for people to film with vertical content. So you want to show a societal effect. Why is this happening? Then you want to show a technological effect. The technology wasn't here yet. The infrastructure wasn't there. Now it is, and now we're able to do this. The other things you always want to talk about is, in the pitch, any immediate ideas that come against the idea. For example, with something like Washmates. What happened previously? Well, some other companies did raise money and they tried this idea, but they were too centralized. They couldn't scale to the masses because they were spending too much money per city. In our model, we turn a washer, dryer and washer, into assets. We don't buy a dry cleaner, we don't use one, we don't pay their rates. They go home and they go wash in the safety of their home and with the things that they have already purchased and set up. So that saves us money, it saves us setup, and allows us to scale to even the smallest city where one washer can wash for people around them. That's why we will become like Uber, where these other companies have failed to, or talk about how other companies are successful in singular cities. They don't have this model, so they can't scale, but it's proven that people will order their laundry services. We want to make it easy. We want to be the go-to app, because even when you fly on a trip, you know that Washmates is there for you. So why would you start using one which is unreliable? Reliability is key. That's why customer support systems in businesses is also key. That's part of what you should understand with raising capital, with talking with investors. You need to really groom that relationship. They are understanding you as a person, and to them you need to be highly responsive, on top of your game, and move quickly. You want to show them that you get shit done because they're invested in you. I have all these great ideas that I'm connecting people to. The business, the infrastructure that we've built out, all the people in the web is great. But each business needs one person to spearhead it. It needs a CEO, it needs a founder or co-founders. And I can't be that for every business. Each business requires one CEO or two co-founders at the helm. So I can't pitch it either. I might have the resources, I might have the network. I can introduce you to the right places to go and people to meet. But at the end of the day, people invest not in ideas, but in people. So I can represent the idea, I can get someone excited about it, but at closing a deal without showing who is that spearhead person just ain't gonna cut it. That is why you specifically need to learn to do this and to pitch, have the deck materials ready, meet the right people, and have this at the top of your mind whenever you're at a networking space. Talk to people. Tell them, here's what I'm working on. Here's my vision. Here's where I can see this going. And here's what we need to get it done. Understand what the use of the funds is so you can describe what that will get done with. This also is another reason why moving forward and going farther makes fundraising easier and easier. Even having one sale, just to show, look, we put $5 into this marketing ad, and that returned us one customer. Our customer cost, this CPA was $5. I think if all these other channels that I've laid out here, we put money into, we can find one with a CPA for $2. But our actual lifetime value of the customer is 40 on average, is what we're projecting if we don't have that data. And then you're able to say, why is that projected? Well, each customer on average we think is going to order 5 loads, and that's going to profit us $40. So my already $5 acquisition cost was profitable, but I think we can even get that down. We're ready to scale. We need the funds to do so. We also want the funds to do this. An understanding of that is key. That is a quick pitch. There is the book, Pitch Anything, which I highly recommend as part of this. A certain portion of it is the most important with any book. There's all of it's not the meat and potatoes of what you need. For the most part, you can spark notes, books, and get the gist of what it's trying to say. Don't be afraid when you're reading a book to just skip pages when it gets boring or repetitive. That's something that I learned. I used to think of every book as a task that I needed to complete. And then I realized, okay, there's so much more knowledge out there, so many books that I won't be able to read all of them. If a book is ever not doing it, switch to another book or just skip that chapter. Go find material that is exciting and useful in the moment. Some stuff you might read and you should have read it 2 years later when it was pertinent. It's best to read stuff which is the most pertinent now. If you're going to try to raise a round, you want to read books about pitching. That's this quick CEO advice talk, and I'm out.